Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video today I'm checking out a video titled Why Starbucks Failed in Australia, and the title is definitely very surprising because I thought Starbucks was in pretty much almost every country extremely popular. I mean, Starbucks is a good place to get some nice coffee and some nice drinks, unlike Starbucks, so I'm really surprised it failed in Australia. Like, I wonder if they have like their own alternative over there. But if you guys want more reaction videos like this, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get right into it for today, my friends. Let's go.
Starbucks has coffee shops all over the world. There are more than 28,000 locations in 76 markets, from Shanghai to Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo Bay?
China, a new Starbucks location opens up every 15 hours.
Wow.
But there is one continent that seems uninterested in the hype over the Seattle-based coffee chain. And that continent is Australia. It's proven to be one of the toughest markets in the world to break into. So tough, in fact, that Starbucks closed more than 2/3 of its stores on the continent back in 2008. So what went so wrong with Starbucks in Australia?
Yeah, this is definitely very surprising, but Guantanamo Bay had the Starbucks maybe for like the workers there, but that's still very surprising because, yeah, that's like the last place I ever thought there'd be a Starbucks.
To answer that, let's go back to July of 2000, when Starbucks opened its first Australian shop in Sydney. From there, it expanded fast. By 2008, Starbucks had 87 stores across the continent.
That's quite good.
I think one of the problems for Starbucks, and it's true for a lot of businesses that have been successful in one country, is that they thought that their business model could just roll out to a different environment and there was no need for them to adjust.
But that was the problem. It tried to grow the empire too fast. Starbucks rapidly opened up multiple locations instead of slowly integrating them into the Australian market.
When they launched too rapidly and didn't give the Australian consumer an opportunity to really develop an appetite for the Starbucks brand. They also moved into regional areas, into outer suburbs of major cities. And so for the Australian consumer, it was almost like it was too available for them. And so there wasn't this point of difference, this want, this need for Starbucks, and it wasn't an organic growth, which is what we very much saw in the US.
In its first
I mean, this is definitely very interesting because I feel like they're the similar tactic in the United Kingdom, but it paid off really well. Like, it feels like out of nowhere, just a bunch of Starbucks just started popping up around me. Like, I remember, like, the local HMV, you may not know what that is, but that's like a CD store, and it just randomly turned into a Starbucks, and there was another place that turned into a Starbucks, then our local supermarket had a Starbucks in there. But the thing is, with Starbucks over here, if you go in there, it's always packed. So I'm really surprised to see the difference in Australia, where people just don't really seem to gravitate towards it and they're not really feeling it.
7 years in Australia, Starbucks accumulated $105 million in losses.
Oh.
By 2007, Starbucks Australia was hanging on by a thread, taking big loans from the US, totaling up to $54 million. And in 2008, Starbucks announced it was shutting down 61 stores. But of course, 2008 was a difficult time for businesses due to the financial crisis.
Yeah.
Along with the Australia closures, Starbucks also closed 600 underperforming American stores. But even still, such a retreat in Australia was embarrassing for the brand.
When you're shutting down 75 stores, for the Australian consumer, when they did leave the market, or at least a large number of their stores were shut down, they didn't really care.
It's partly because Australians are spoiled for choice when it comes to coffee. Australia's coffee market is one of the biggest in the world. The industry is expected to hit more than $6 billion in total revenue
Wow, that's
in
a lot.
2018. They've been immersed in nuances of cafe culture since the mid-1900s, when Italian and Greek immigrants began traveling to the country. The immigrants introduced Australians to espresso. By the 1980s, Australians were fully engulfed in cafe culture. They've also grown accustomed to specialty menu items, like a flat white or an Australian macchiato.
So cafes in Australia were born out of like the Italian culture of, meeting a friend and knowing your local barista and it being kind of like a local meeting place where
Okay, that seems
knew
nice.
each other, and that coffee was just a part of that. And then Starbucks came in with what is more of an American style.
Yeah, it's more like to go. I mean, you definitely see a lot of people with their laptops working in Starbucks. People do have like meetups in Starbucks, but like normally whenever I get something from Starbucks, it is to go. Like I just order it, wait for the name to be called out, get the drink, I'm gone. So, okay, I can definitely see like the difference in the culture.
Like coffee culture, which is essentially just like coffee is a product, coffee is a commodity, coffee is like like perk me up in the morning. It's caffeination.
Yeah.
Starbucks had a basic menu and offered more sugary drinks, which most Australians didn't like.
In Australia, where local tastes are different, so we don't really want a coffee that's hundreds of ounces with lots of sugar in it. We want something a bit more sophisticated.
Plus, Starbucks charged more than local cafes.
Yeah, they
So
do. They
Australians
do.
instead opted to pay less for coffee they liked from a local barista they trusted.
And so when you come in with this big, like, hey, we're going to open all these cafes and they're all going to be to-go focused, it just was the complete wrong market for what the Australian was used to.
But there's one American coffee company that's thriving in Australia. Founded in Chicago and now based in Australia, Gloria Jean's got the traction in Australia that Starbucks couldn't.
Oh, we don't have
Gloria
these
Jean's
over
has more
here.
than 400 Australian locations and serves more than 35 million consumers in Australia each year.
That's a lot.
So what is Gloria Jean's doing in Australia that Starbucks isn't? Well, the company attributes its success to two Australians who franchised the business in their home country. Shops started to show up in Australia in 1996. Fast forward to today, the company has a presence in every Australian state. The reason? Its menu. The chain offers a wide variety of espresso drinks and specialty coffee. Failing to adapt its menu to Australians' coffee culture proved to be a mistake for Starbucks. And the company faces another challenge later this year: Italy. Starbucks is opening its first store in Milan in late 2018. Home of the espresso, Italy is rich in cafe culture.
Okay, so this video is a little bit old, so I kind of know how it did in Italy. I can't imagine it doing that well over there. Because, yeah, they're huge on coffee culture. But it seems like Gloria Jean's offers more menu, like there's more options on the menu. And they also have been there first. So obviously, you'd rather go to Gloria Jean's. And Starbucks came out of nowhere. And they made like a lot of fatal mistakes not adapting to the market, which I thought they never have to in a lot of countries. That like the menu's just the same everywhere. So this was definitely a big shock. And it's very surprising to me because I thought Starbucks was big everywhere.
According to Starbucks, it's not going to make the same mistakes that it did in Australia. The company said that it would develop in Italy with humility and respect for its coffee culture. It announced it would be opening a roastery, which is not your average cafe. It gives customers a chance to see coffee beans roasted and processed before their eyes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So there's a chance that it won't struggle like it did in Australia. But Starbucks isn't admitting defeat in Australia either. Starbucks is staging a comeback on the continent. In 2014, Starbucks locations in Australia were purchased by the Mount Waverley-based Withers Group. Starbucks told CNBC that since its sale to the Withers Group, the company learned a lot. So this time, it's taking a different approach to putting Starbucks on the continent.
So if you just think about Australia's a big tourism destination, there's a lot of US and Chinese tourists. Starbucks have been very successful in China, and it makes a lot of sense for them to build out because there are people looking for.
Yeah, a lot of
something
tourists
new
would
to
want
them.
Now with
Starbucks as well
39
on their
locations in
holidays.
Brisbane, Melbourne, the Gold Coast, and Sydney areas, this time it's not looking to appeal to Australians. But instead, the coffee giant hopes to be a familiar face for tourists visiting popular vacation destinations in Australia.
Australia's always been a high volume tourist market. The same thing in terms of international students at our universities, potential opportunities for them. And we're starting to see Starbucks enter into some large shopping malls here in Australia as well.
Australia welcomed 9 million tourists from 2017 to 2018. And those international visitors spent more than $30 billion in 2017 alone. So tourists could possibly be the key to keeping the company afloat.
I do
and
think that's a
preventing
very
another
smart
downfall.
tactic, actually. I do think them appealing to tourists is definitely a very smart tactic. But yeah, I'm surprised by it. Australia is just straight up rejecting Starbucks. Because I like Starbucks. It's just like a place you go. Have some nice drinks. A lot of different variety, I think, in my opinion. And yeah, it's just easy, quick, convenient to go in there, get a drink. So I like it. I've never had Gloria Jean's before. We don't have that over here. We may. I don't think we do. But I've never seen one. I've never been there. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that Australia just straight up rejected it. So if you guys want more reaction videos like this, let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.